Need to look and feel your best when you start your day? Want to put that extra spring in your step on your way to the office? Want to feel good about ignoring all those nasty protesters who have been subjugated by the Empire? Then why not start your day with Gorman Silk Coffee? It's got the smooth flavor you need, whether you're stealing resources from an unsuspecting outer rim planet or just catching up with mom.
You're being cast aside. You're being discarded and too naive to see it. They put you on the shelf, Cyril. You've been played.
You of all people should understand the attraction of being in charge.
Now in light side, dark side, and our all-new Rebel Roast Blend. Gorman Silk, from our spiders to your cup. Now available at Smith's, Costco, and other fine stores. Yeah, watching middle managers on backwater planets drinking coffee while being berated by their mom.
You'd find a woman actually willing to make a life with you, and you just walk away.
Really does make Star Wars for adults now, doesn't it?
Coming to the CW, another series about teen romance that descends
into ass-kicking action.
Miguel and Sam share tender moments talking about their feelings. And when Robbie finds out,
All hell breaks loose.
the CW presents a new kind of teen drama.
That will kick you in the balls. Coming this fall, it's Kung Fu High.
Because of certain indiscreet remarks by Don Imus and Howard Stern, WNBC Radio apologizes to the following: the National Organization for Women, the New York chapter of Hadassah, Governor Cuomo, the New York Jets, the United States Congress, both houses, Nassau Community College, the Gay Men's Choir, Sons of Italy, Rabbi Arthur Selkowitz, my wife,
66 WNBC. If we weren't so bad, we wouldn't be so good.
Queen Elizabeth, Mayor Koch.
Coming to the CW, another
Hi, New York. You know, before I was a comedian, I was a guitar player. And I wanted to be the best, but I wasn't. Just like a lot of radio stations try to be K-Rock, and they're not, because K-Rock is the best. It's the best classic rock and roll you're going to find, and they have it all day. And they have Howard Stern in the morning. And we don't mean to laugh in the face of the other radio stations. But you're just not K-Rock! Turn to K-Rock 92.3 FM! Ow!
coming up on the CW. It's prom night, and love is in the air.
Until it's time to throw down.
Sam and Miguel share a tender moment.
But look who's crashing the party.
Watch as young couples share a romantic dance.
And fight. And dance fight.
Be sure to watch an extra special episode
of Kung Fu High Prom Night.
Tired and stressed out from a day of not doing anything the least bit heroic? Then why not settle back with a warm cup of Devil's Dew coffee? It's got the perfect blend of caffeine and coffee flavor for that pick-me-up you need when you're going out on a literal blind date, or when you're not even trying to protect the city, or anyone else. Now in light roast, dark roast, and our very own Satan's Bitter Piss Water blend. All these shows do now is show people standing around drinking coffee, even with the bad guys. Can we please see something heroic? Anything. Please? Devil's Dew Coffee, straight from Hell's Kitchen to your cup. Now available at Whole Foods and Costco. You know, a whole generation grew up watching a bunch of neurotic a-holes in New York sit around a cafe and drink coffee all day.
So I guess that decides it.
We should have known that this was eventually going to happen.
Hanging out at a coffee place, not nearly as much fun as hanging out at a bar.
Now streaming on Disney+. After nearly 50 years, Lucasfilm finally answers the question, what does the Empire do during their downtime? Get ready for all the tedium and mind-numbing boredom of Dinner with Your Relatives in Season 2 of Andor. When we last left Cyril, he was eating blue Cocoa Puffs and settling into his new position at the Bureau of... something. I don't know what these people do. and the object of his affection greeted him with utter disdain.
I should say thank you.
Now, it's 4 years before the Battle of Yavin, and they've moved in together. He's worked his way up to middle manager in the Bureau's cubicle farm, and she's trying to figure out the Empire's energy policy for, who exactly does she work for?
Spiders.
Oh, Krennic, okay. Now, they'll have to face their most terrifying enemy, a stereotypically and overbearing Jewish mother.
You look nothing like what I expected.
Watch as they deal with her passive aggressiveness.
Since when are you drinking spiced tea?
When I see you so rarely, are we not allowed to change?
Eat fondue.
More cat.
And what would Disney Star Wars be without drinking coffee? Dear God, is this where Star Wars is now? Disney and Lucasfilm have completely lost sight of the fact that the Empire is evil. Nobody cares what they do off the clock. They've destroyed entire civilizations, murdered children, wiped out the Republic's peacekeepers, and have made the galaxy a police state.
Let me see your identification.
I get that these are two people that are just cogs in the machine, but there's a reason why they haven't shown this before.
Access to stable, unlimited power will transform the galactic economy and solidify imperial authority.
That's because nobody gives a shit. This is where the tagline goes. Who cares anymore? Don't miss the series that finally, at long last, shows you that Star Wars isn't remotely interesting beyond the Skywalkers. Honey, I Shrunk the Empire. Only on Disney+. Wait a minute, this actress is 45 years old. If this is 4 years before the Battle of Yavin and Luke was 19 in A New Hope, that would make her 30.
I was raised in an Imperial kinderblock.
That's a little old to be an orphan, don't you think? Right there with you, Cyril, buddy.
Coming up on the CW. It's summer. It's finally time to relax by the pool.
Until it's time to kick ass!
Time to just lay back and catch some rays.
And a fist to the face!
And find that new summer romance.
And wait for all hell to break loose!
Be sure to watch the all-new summer season
of Kung Fu High Pool Party! Hoo-yah!
Hey, buddy. Amos in the morning, WNBC, Amos in the morning. How's everybody doing out there? WNBC, Amos in the morning. We got Super Sales. We got Mike McCall. We got Mike Bremen Sports. WNBC. WNBC. Amos in the morning.
How's everybody doing out there in Radio Land? I still consider this radio. Yeah, you know what? I don't have the capacity to put. Well, maybe I do. Just a second. Let me see if I can put the chat up on screen. If we pop it out and we do work a little computer magic. Let me see what we got here. Add source, window capture, chat, YouTube chat, and then we select a window to capture, chat pop out. Okay, there we go. And then we, like I said, we work a little computer magic here. I forgot how to do this here. Okay, there we go. 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 There's a computer magic. And then we put it in the corner. And then we kind of adjust the opacity. Let's adjust the opacity of that. Let me see. YouTube chat. Let's see. Properties. No, we don't want that. Let's see. Scale filtering. How do we adjust the opacity? Well, first of all, what we got to do is we got to trim that a little bit. Make it look nice and nice, as my father used to say. Let me see. Let me see. High transition, auto transform. Center. No, we don't want to center for blending mode. Oh, there's got to be. You know, like I said, why isn't there a thing that says opacity in OBS? Seriously, seriously. Really, yeah. Oh, but it's the standard for live streaming. Really, the standard is pretty low. Sting opacity of a window. We'll do it live. In OBS or OBS, I call it. Right click window, capture image, select filters, color correction, opacity. Okay. What did I just read? Okay, window, capture image, select filters, add color correction filter, opacity. Okay. Filters. Okay. Add color correction filters. And it looks nothing like they described. You're fucking kidding me. Add color correction filters. Okay, you got to add the filter. Really? Yeah, and they wonder why I hate OBS. They really do. Color correction. Okay, here we go. Color correction. Okay. Opacity. Here we go. How's that? How's that? That's doesn't look very good. That maybe? Like that? Left hand box? Left hand? I guess. I guess that'll do. What about the edges? Can we blend the edges? Hue shift. Can we soften the edges a little bit? Let me see. Color, tone, scaling, sharpen. Maybe sharpen? Sharpen? Let me see. No. Sharpness. No, okay, that's not it. Add. I don't know. Blend. Blending edges in window. OBS. Mask blend filter. Or apply color to reduce edge sharpness. Mask blend. Yeah, you know, we're not gonna tell you. Nobody really tells you how to do anything in this thing. You just gotta. What does it say? Mask blend, apply color alpha. Use mask blend with an alpha mask. For fuck's sake. Alpha mask. Alpha mask. Okay. Really, they wonder why I hate OBS. They really do. Everybody wonders why I hate OBS. How does that look? Doesn't look very good, actually. Okay, well. Filters. Mask blend. Okay, well. Really doesn't do anything, does it? Close. Okay, well. Anyway, that's gonna have to be good enough. He will give the topic sometime. Wonder why OBS doesn't improve itself. It's not like there are many known issues. Also, since forever ago, not that I will ever be paid for it, but dancing with Star Wars would be a good prequel. Dances, yeah. He will get with the topics. He will get the topics sometime. All right. So, why are we here? Well, I kind of want to talk about Daredevil Born Again. Listen, I've been a fan of Daredevil for a very, very, very long time. That was actually one of my favorite comics. I have the Frank Miller runs. I have both Frank Miller runs, actually the Born Again run, which this has absolutely nothing to do with. And it's just to say that I'm disappointed is not really accurate. I'm more confused. I really am. I'm more confused as to what people see in this. Now, I've seen other reviews. And like, oh, well, they're so good, back to form, so good, so good, so good. I'm like, really? 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 You think so? Let me boost some of the low end. How's that sound? I just boosted some of the low end here. But like I said, I'm not really seeing a whole lot to get excited for. And this just leads in. Okay, listen, we start again. We start again with the whole thing about Daredevil and Hell's Kitchen. He's on the lam, and Wilson Fisk is he's mayor of New York. He's declared martial law. First of all, that's the other thing. A mayor of New York City cannot declare martial law. He could impose a curfew. He could ask the governor to send the National Guard in to help keep the peace, but there's no justification for him keeping the peace. He caused a blackout. He called Con Edison, and listen, it's not easy to cause a blackout in New York. Okay, the blackout of '65, the big one, that actually was a cascade effect that came down from Canada, which most of New York City gets its power from. Or at least it did back then. And it actually, there was a thing about the circuit breaker kicked into place and it plunged New York into a blackout. And 9 months later, all these blackout babies were born. But the thing is, but what I don't understand is, like I said, the people that are writing this, it's really haphazardly written. It really is. It's very haphazardly written. A lot of things are done. Nothing is explained. There's things that just don't make a lot of sense. And the other thing, too, is about how, like I said, one of the things they pick up and like, oh, yeah, he's making the city better. He's making no, New Yorkers wouldn't stand for it. New Yorkers would not stand for that. I know. You see how ticked off people get. But in the story, it was just a Fantastic Four. Hold on, Kingpin being mayor, banning superheroes is a story from the comics. I must have stopped reading it. I probably stopped reading Marvel back then when that happened. And it's a very heavy-handed metaphor for ICE. It's a very heavy-handed metaphor for the orange dude in the White House. It's a very heavy-handed metaphor for police brutality. A lot of stuff doesn't make sense. We see but the Punisher's returning. Yeah, the Punisher was in for 5 minutes. And there are a lot of, like I said, inconsistencies. There's a lot of things that I don't like about these characters. First of all, none of the male characters are very good. The other thing too is, again, listen, I'm not a stickler for the comics, but the character of Heather Glenn, that's not Heather Glenn. That is not Heather Glenn. Heather Glenn in the comics was not a therapist, and this character is far too. She's just annoying. I really despise this character of that they're telling me is Heather Glenn, because it's not her. And like I said, everybody's in therapy. Everybody's getting in touch with their feelings. Heather Glenn was alcoholic and a wealthy daughter of an industrialist, and she ended up dead, like a lot of Matt Murdock's girlfriends do. Heather Glenn, I mean, like I said, this Heather Glenn is just annoying, and she shoots the other guy, Muse. I go, oh well, you can't have that character, like you can't have that character now. I'm like, like I said, here's a page from. Let's see if I can display capture. Hold on. Window capture properties. I think this is it. There we go. Yeah, there's Heather Glenn hitting the bottle right in front of Matt Murdock. She's going to turn into the female Muse. Oh God, that's because she has trauma. And like I said, everybody's got trauma. I hate this version of the Kingpin. Like I said, everybody has trauma. All the women are girl bosses. Vanessa is pretty useless and unlikable. Not useless, but she goes out and she screws around with Kingpin, and he just kind of lets her. I love you more now. I'm like, oh, shut up. Yeah, and her turning into the female Muse is not going to make her interesting. But again, we're seeing the problems with modern writing. Is that everybody's in therapy. Everybody's got trauma. Everybody has issues. And I'm really just freaking tired of it. I really am. So did that come up on the... There it is. I'm really getting tired of this. This is actually... Living in Hell's Kitchen, assume a lot of people have trauma. Well, Hell's Kitchen's not quite what it was back in the day. Back in like the 60s and 70s, Hell's Kitchen wasn't a nice place. Now it's been gentrified. Now Hell's Kitchen is one of those, it's Clinton Heights now. I'm like, For those who aren't from New York, Hell's Kitchen is 34th Street to the 59th Street Bridge, 8th Avenue to the Harlem River. To the Hudson. Harlem River? Hudson. Whatever. 8th Avenue to the river. They called it Hell's Kitchen because it was like hell living there. A lot of Irish immigrants grew up there. Yeah, it's actually, they're the hipsters are coming in. The private equity's coming in, buying up all the places. And as you know, they say, I feel so in touch with the like diversity of the city. I like this is like totes adorbs because I love living here. It's just like I really get the distressed feel of the neighborhood. Like it's been through a lot. I bet you this neighborhood would tell a lot of the stories. I'm like, yeah, one of the stories is I'm gonna kick your ass. About how you're gonna get your ass kicked. It's like totes adorbs. I'm like, but I'm just living here temporarily, just until my study abroad program comes in. Selfie. Ugh. Really, I've often said, I'm the scariest thing in New York. It really is. It's really sad. It's really freaking sad. It really is. And I hate the fact that the city's lost a lot of its character. But that notwithstanding, Disney Plus got it wrong. Yeah, they got a lot of stuff wrong. I mean, like I said, Hell's Kitchen was a tough neighborhood back in the 70s, and the 60s and 70s, late 60s and early 70s, even up through the 80s, in the 40s and 50s, when the Irish immigrants were living there. It was really tough neighborhood. Now, again, like I said, it's lost a lot of its character. But that aside, the big problem again I have is that you have things that I'm just not buying with this series. I don't buy. They make a lot of gaps in logic. I mean, they steal a truck and then they ask the swordsman, "Can you drive this thing?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, you just stole it. Why do you need me to drive it?" He just how Daredevil just appears out of nowhere. Wow, did you see the Punisher trailer? No, I didn't. I didn't see the Punisher trailer. There's a new Punisher trailer? There's another Punisher series? Let me see. Hold on. Selfie! Let me turn that off. We have a live reveal. We're doing it live. I really... Punisher. And they kept saying about how, okay, Punisher. Oh, okay. Punisher special presentation, Punisher one last kill. Okay. Everybody's just so happy to get these. And that's the other thing, too. People are liking this because they are just happy to get these versions of these characters back. Doesn't matter that the story isn't good. It's just getting the characters back. And like I said, the Bullseye, I'm one of the good guys. I'm like, you're trying to make Bullseye a sympathetic character? Really? Bullseye, of all people? You're trying to set him up as an anti-hero. Oh no, he's just misunderstood. He's trying to make a difference the only way he knows how. And I wouldn't be surprised if they put Mr. Khan back in this. I wouldn't be surprised if they try to shoehorn Kamala Khan in this. So I'm seeing a lot of people aren't liking this here. Like I said, I'm really, really dumbfounded as to what people are seeing in this. The only conclusion I have is that people are just glad to see these versions of these characters again. And like I said, Jessica Jones has not been in it yet, and we're probably going to see Jessica Jones for 5 minutes in the next to last episode. Like we did with She-Hulk. She-Hulk was in, Daredevil was in She-Hulk. He was in the last episode. No, the second to last episode. She-Hulk was banging him. And then he did the walk of shame. Haha, look at that. We took Daredevil down a peg. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why is this so difficult? Why? I don't understand how you can get this. This shouldn't be that hard. This really shouldn't. The other thing too is that, you know, they're holding Bullseye, the anti-hero everyone knows is a hitman for hire. Also Colin Farrell. Yeah, exactly. I mean, listen, even like even the boxing match I found a little far-fetched. You know, they would to me they would hold a boxing match at the Armory Boxing Club or on the Fort Washington Ave, or even they would have it at the theater at the Garden for a high-profile boxing match like that. You know, maybe they would hold they really want to do it. They would do it in Brooklyn, the High Line in Brooklyn or whatever. You know, the Bell House, whatever it is. It just seems like you would. It's like I said, just a lot of things about this series just frustrate me because it's and never. Oh well, but they're using the F word. I'm like, that doesn't matter. That doesn't matter. Disney is trying. Do you think Vanessa's going to die? Yes. No, wait a minute. No, you can't kill off a woman. Disney, if it's Disney, you can't kill off a woman. You can't kill off a woman in a Disney series. They will go out of their way to make sure that they don't kill her off. Because it's Disney. And like I said, this is Disney's version of Daredevil. This is Disney trying to be edgy. This is Disney trying to prove, look, we can do this kind of entertainment. Look, we can do adult. We can do the heavy kind of the graphic stuff. Like, no, you can't. You really can't. You really don't know how to do this. You really don't. I just don't understand the idea of let me see if I can get this here. Is that it? That should be it. Yeah, that's it. That's my expression watching this. It really is. It's my expression. Can you see that? I don't know. For fuck's sake, what's going on? I'm not showing it. Because there you go. Alt. I really do hate this. I really do hate this program. I really do. Everything's a freaking hassle with OBS. Everything really is. Really? Can we have something that looks like it wasn't designed in 2007? Vanessa always dies, then he gets another woman. Hey, what's up, real Uber Canuber? I like that. They might put her into a coma and kill her off screen. She probably won't have to, but they could. Yeah. You know what would have solved it? Calling it Heroes for Hire and include all the heroes' side versus Kingpin. Yeah, but then they would have to pay Mike Coulter, and they would have to pay the other guy to play Danny Rand. I mean, they don't want... Oh, the last thing they want to do is bring back Iron Fist with a blonde-haired white guy. That is the last thing. And let me tell you something. For all the grief we give Eternals, for all the grief and crap we load, I'm pissed at Eternals, not for anything that movie did, because that movie was terrible. That movie was absolutely atrocious. But hey, where the fuck's the Black Knight? Where's the Black? You teased the Black Knight, and now he's nowhere to be found. Really, you made it out like he was going to be a pretty important guy, and the Black Knight was an Avenger. The Black Knight, actually, he made a comeback in the 80s. With the ebony sword, and that kind of stuff. You teased it, and you did nothing with it. What happened to Blade? Oh boy. That went nowhere. Blade, you really... They replaced Iron Fist, made him Asian, which seems more offensive. Of course it's more offensive. You know why? Because Disney only... They hold themselves up to this thing where, like, only Asian people can do one thing. Where did this go? Where did my YouTube chat go? Where'd my YouTube chat go? Okay, and it went there. I had to highlight it again. Disney is in a horrible pattern. They tease something, they say, yeah, this is going to be good, it's going to be different, and then they run it straight into the ground. They run headlong into a brick wall like Wile E. Coyote, and then it's just like, well, wait a minute, we did everything you want. I'm like, no, you didn't. You really didn't. What happened to the Snake Eyes movie? Oh my God, don't get me started on the Snake Eyes movie. Listen, the Snake Eyes movie was really Henry Golding's audition for James Bond. That's what it really was. Henry Golding trying to prove he could carry an action franchise, and you know what? He failed horribly. Henry Golding. What a stiff. And you got the typical storyline of, oh, the son seeking revenge because the father was killed. That, and then they got this thing with the Baroness, and they had Dragon Balls. I'm like, really? You couldn't just adapt the I didn't expect this to go this direction. Let me, you couldn't just adapt this comic, really? You couldn't just... Where's the image? Copy image. Where's load image? I fucking hate these things. Open ink, link a new tab, open image, copy image. Really? You couldn't just... Why is this not... No, I don't want to see that. Christ almighty. I spend more time... Open image, new tab. Here we go. Now I got to open this up. There we go. That's not too bad. Although mostly with a British cast. Hold on. Maybe elsewhere in Europe. Listen. I've been saying this for years. And again, this is and this is actually one of the things, I have no firm evidence of this, okay? And if I ever do finish my G.I. Joe documentary, which I wrote a while back, I wrote an extensive history of the origins and different iterations of G.I. Joe in different media, in pop culture. And honest to God, I wish I could have picked something a little easier. Where's that book I have? I have actually a book about it, about the history of the G.I. Joe toy from Hasbro. Like I said, we start talking about comics, we start talking about shit, and you guys actually send me off on tangents, and I thank you for that. I really thank you for kind of guiding the conversation, because Lord knows I'd be out of things to say. But this story was written by Larry Hama. Larry Hama was G.I. Joe writer for a very long time. He was the one that came up with the idea that they should be a team rather than a singular individual. He came up with the code names. He came up with Cobra. I mean, so every time they make a movie or they do something with it, I'd like to think he gets a check for it. But this story is probably one of the better stories, probably one of the best ones in the comic series. And this is one of the reasons why the comic was actually outselling The Amazing Spider-Man for a brief time in the 80s. Now, there's the whole thing like, well, we couldn't have him be a white guy. We couldn't have him be another blonde-haired white guy. I'm like, well, that's integral and intrinsic to the character. That's a vital part of the character's background. Because the whole idea was that you were setting up that he is Snake Eyes was supposed to be adopted and mute for reasons. His rival was the top student who didn't like him for being an outsider. Yeah, I remember. That was in the first movie. That was in the first movie, Rise of Cobra. In the comic, he has a twin sister. His family gets killed while he's in Vietnam. Remember, this is the 80s. Vietnam wasn't that far removed. It was only 15 odd years. 10 years. We pulled out of Vietnam in 75. This comic came out in about 84. Maybe 83. The G.I. Joe comic was debuted in 1981. So 25, this would be about 83, maybe early 84. So the idea was that there was a guy who literally had nothing left. His whole family was wiped out in a car crash. And then Storm Shadow, Tommy, who he was called, offers him a place in the family business. It turns out his family's a ninja clan. Ashikaga ninjas, I believe, or to that degree. Yeah, and as Senior Sticks points out, there was the rift because Snake Eyes was his uncle's favorite student. His uncle gets taken out of the picture. Snake Eyes assumes that it was Storm Shadow. Storm Shadow says it wasn't him. It was an unknown assailant. Turns out it's Zartan. But the reason why, again, he's a blonde-haired, blue-eyed stranger. He's a gaijin, outsider. If you have Snake Eyes be Asian, yeah, he's kind of an outsider, but not really. I mean, he's out of place, but he could pass more easily. You have him blonde hair, blue eyed in front of a bunch of Japanese. I mean, okay, it drives it home either. Like the outsiders here. What's the outsider doing here? But one of the Snake Eyes has messed up face. Yeah. The other part of the story is that they don't specifically say it, but he was injured in the hostage rescue in Iran in 1980. There was a botched hostage rescue where I can't remember how many servicemen. I think a number of servicemen died, and I can't remember the exact number off the top of my head. But it was a public relations, and it was a military. It was a public relations disaster. It was a military bungle. But they keep saying that, well, we can't have Snake Eyes be a Vietnam vet because he'd be 70 years old right now. Like, yeah, well, you know what? Do you think that's the only war America's been in the last 50 years? Really? Come on. You could easily just have him in Iraq or Afghanistan. I mean, nobody really said that Tony Stark had to be in Vietnam, in a cave in Vietnam, building the Iron Man suit. They put him in Afghanistan. You can move the timeline up. But I really do think that this is an instance where these stories, I have no solid proof. I have a feeling that these stories are all owned now by Disney. Yeah, Vietnam was a longer conflict. Well, so was Iraq. But these stories, I believe, are owned by Disney. So, and Paramount owns the rights to G.I. Joe, the movie rights at least. So anything they use, they're going to have to be cutting a check to Disney. And I got a feeling they don't want to do that. Let me just look it up a second. Does own the G.I. Joe comics backstories? Let me see. No, Disney does not own the G.I. Joe comics backstories or the intellectual property. There's a breakdown of ownership. Hasbro owns the IP. G.I. Joe is a Hasbro media franchise. Comics backstory, Larry Hama. While Marvel Comics published the original G.I. Joe comics under writer Larry Hama created the file cards, backstories, characters gave us lore. This was a licensed product from Hasbro, not owned by Marvel. Marvel versus Disney. While Disney owns Marvel Entertainment, which published the comics, this does not extend to the G.I. Joe license or the creative work developed for Hasbro. Current publisher. The comics are currently published by Skybound, a division of Image Comics, not Marvel Disney. In short, Hasbro holds the rights to all of G.I. Joe characters' backstories and lore. Let me see. Published by published in Marvel Comics. I think they would still have to cut Larry Hama a check, though. The AI is thinking, no, does not own the backstory published by Marvel Comics. All creative rights, characters, storylines associated with G.I. Joe brand are owned by Hasbro. Marvel acts as a publisher, not the owner. While Marvel does retain rights to the reprints of the comics or they originally published, they do not own the underlying characters or the backstory / continuity. Story continuity. The original Marvel story continuity was continued later by Devil's Due Publishing, then IDW Publishing, and is currently continued by Skybound Entertainment and imprint of Image Comics. Larry Hama's role. Longtime G.I. Joe writer Larry Hama, who established much of Marvel lore, has continued writing continuation specific storyline under various publishers, IDW and Skybound. Why the confusion? Disney owns Marvel Entertainment, which includes the Marvel Universe characters, X-Men, Avengers. People are often confused the publisher, Marvel, with the owner of the IP, Hasbro. Disney Marvel has no ownership of G.I. Joe and would have to pay Hasbro for the rights to use them. Okay, so that answers that question. So that answers that question. Disney does not own G.I. Joe. The backstories, the comics, or the lore. That was part of a licensing deal. Hasbro retained the rights to all that. Still doesn't answer why they won't use the stories in the comics. I don't know. Maybe we should ask it that question. Why hasn't Paramount used the G.I. Joe comics for movies yet? Okay. Paramount Pictures has struggled to successfully adapt G.I. Joe because the films consistently moved away from more grounded, character-driven, slightly darker tone in the original Marvel comics written by Larry Hama in favor of over-the-top, kid-friendly action. Instead of using the comics as a direct template, Paramount has historically prioritized the 1980s cartoon cheese factor, and in the case of Rise of Cobra, heavily altered characters and plot lines which alienated fans. Here's why Paramount hasn't effectively used the G.I. Joe comics for the movies. Failure to replicate the comic tone. While fans love the grounded, serious tone of the comics, the films, particularly The Rise of Cobra 2009, relied on futuristic technology, goofy plots, and in some cases, military jingoism that did not resonate well, according to Reddit and Quora discussions. I'm not on Quora, I don't know. Deviation from the source material. The movies frequently change core elements from the comics, such as turning Cobra Commander into a mad doctor, making the Baroness Duke's girlfriend, and making Snake Eyes a childhood friend of Storm Shadow, rather than a scarred war veteran from the comics. Focus on toys over story. The movies were designed to sell toys, similar to the cartoons, but failed to build a richer experience through character development that the comic series offered. Missed creative opportunities. While Larry Hama, the original comic writer, was consultant on Retaliation, the overarching, long-running storylines of the comics were never fully adopted to build a cohesive cinematic universe, leading to a reboot approach after Snake Eyes G.I. Joe Origins bombed. Current status, future plans. Paramount has struggled to find consistent direction for the franchise, passing on recent, more subversive treatments that didn't focus on core characters. The current strategy is to integrate G.I. Joe into a crossover with Transformers Cinematic Universe, as teased in Transformers The Rise of the Beasts. Okay, well, we have our answers. Paramount doesn't know what the fuck they're doing. They really don't. They really do not know what they're doing. And you know what? I listen. I could. Not that I really expect them to move heaven and earth to do this, but at the same time, yeah. I mean, there was one story from the comics that they brought Major Blood in to essentially whack Destro. And then Major Blood is sitting in a Cobra prison cell for, for a good dozen issues. And after a while, I was reading, like, where's Major Blood in all this? Where's Major Blood? And Major Blood, they bring Major Blood out and to impersonate Destro, and I can't remember what else was. I can't remember what else. It's been a long time since I read it. There is one character that I finally figured out where he is. The character Grand Slam. Never appeared in the G.I. Joe cartoon series. Was in the comics. Was sort of written out of the comics. Eventually was in the desert testing weapons. But if you look closely in the intro, Flash is riding the motorcycle. I can't remember what the name of the motorcycle is, but Grand Slam is in the Jeep, sitting next to Clutch. So there's his one appearance. He's in identical uniform as Flash. So it took me a while to figure that out. Why would anyone want to whack Destro? He's just an arms dealer. Well, Destro was trying to... Cobra Commander thought he was trying to take over, subvert his power. Destro had accumulated a lot more power within Cobra than Cobra Commander at one point. He has a metal head.
Sander.
They always treated it like it was a mask in the comics. Even though you would see his mouth move. It's supposed to be a mask. Yeah, they made that with the nanobots. That was kind of dumb. Yeah, but like I said, you know, they want more of a kid-friendly thing here. They're sitting on a gold mine. And again, Marvel's going one way and Paramount's going another. It's like the two don't know which direction each are going to go. Marvel's trying to desperately prove they can do adult stuff, and Paramount's trying to desperately prove they can do kid stuff. I'm getting to the point where I really am dreading the next episode of Daredevil, because listen, and I know people like it, but it's just getting worse. It really is. If I can talk about Daredevil again. Daredevil, it's just not good. I'm sorry. I feel like I should apologize for saying that. Paramount, they don't know what to do with Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. I'm about to give them some free advice. Just make an animated series. Just make another animated series. You had a pretty good series in 2001, 2002. Just make it in. Stop trying to reinvent the wheel. Stop trying to race swap people. Stop trying to think outside the box. You have the template right there in front of you. The answers are right there. You have years worth of comics and lore to go to adapt. Use it. Use them as even storyboards. Still waiting for the TMNT Daredevil Gargoyle Spider-Man crossover. What was the best comics adaptation for any media? It was the original X-Men series on Fox. Why? Because they understood the material. They took the storylines directly out of the comics in some instances. You had storylines that spanned an entire 13-episode season. Spider-Man was also great. That 90s Spider-Man series? You kidding me? And the other thing, too, is, like I said, the Spider-Man... Listen, I don't want to see Peter Parker in high school anymore, okay? Can you just show him... We can show Peter Parker growing up a little bit. I had the perfect plot for a Spider-Man movie that was just more grounded. I mean, Peter Parker's a student at NYU or Empire State University or wherever. Some co-eds turn up dead. There's a guy, Michael Morbius, experiments with bat DNA, and there you go. It writes itself. Spider-Man was good. It was an excellent series. And they did Secret Wars, and it wasn't all that different than the comic. They keep trying to reinvent the wheel. Disney doesn't want to show women as being weak. And that's why you have Heather Glenn as a therapist. That's why you have Vanessa as essentially the brains behind Kingpin.
She's empowered. That's why she's screwing around with that, whatever that guy, Lance, or whatever the hell his name was. That's why all the women shoot everybody else. And they don't let the hero be a hero. They're doing an adult Spider-Man show. Now it's less interesting. It's the Woman King. Yeah, Vanessa's really the Kingpin in this series. And she's annoying. I didn't mind her originally in the Netflix series. And you notice how Kingpin has a white suit on? Is he 25%? Is that the 25% difference? She got a piece of glass right through the temple. I was like, ouch. Well, that's going to leave a mark. I don't get it. I don't get it. Why do they keep doing this? Where does he get white suits? I don't know. Maybe there's a lot of tailors in New York. I don't understand. I'm not going to begrudge anyone if they tell me they like it. Hey, man, you want to like this? Go right ahead. I don't. I'm not going to say you're not a real fan, but I'm like, I have a lot of problems with it. I have a lot of problems. There's a lot of things wrong with this series. I don't like Bullseye. I certainly sure as hell don't like Daredevil in this. The stupid primal screams where he, ah! The Bullseye suit's not bad. You could use a few more accents on it, though. It's a character who stabbed Elektra through the heart. And all of a sudden, he's doing good? He stabbed Daredevil's girlfriend through the heart with her own weapon. Now I'm supposed to... I have that comic. I bought that comic for $1.50 at the Starship Excalibur comic book store. Way back in 1984, 85, or whatever it was. I still have it. How much is that comic worth? I don't know. Who cares? I don't get it graded. Bullseye, Elektra versus Bullseye 181. Actually, a guy selling it for $30. Somebody's selling it for 99 cents. Okay, not worth as much as I thought, but $30. Yeah, I still have it. I have it somewhere. It's in one of the boxes. It's in the long box. I still have some of the original Turtles comics. I have one that's autographed by Kevin Eastman and Peter Laird. I have, I have the one where Elektra is resurrected, too. I mean, where she has the white suit on. Murdoch purified her. But like I said, I don't get it. It's all there in front of you. It really is. And the suit looks freaking cheap. Yeah, okay, it was in the comics, but the suit still looks cheap. Do you think Foggy's going to come back in the show? I don't know. I really don't. I hope not. I really hope not. To me, that was a rookie move that they did. They killed him off in the first episode. That's an example of piss poor writing. And I'll tell you why. I'll tell you why that's an example of piss poor writing. Because everybody does it now. They kill off one of the main characters in the first 10 minutes. You saw that in Terminator Genesis. You see that in so many media. And that's the big idea that people have now. That young writers have. Oh, we're going to kill off a main character in the first 10 minutes to shock you. Well, you know what? I'm not shocked. All I say is, why am I not surprised? It's always subverting your expectations. My expectations have been subverted so much that that you can't. If you want to subvert my expectations now, don't kill him. Oh, for Christ's sake. He can't help us. I gotta get some bananas. Just on a random night. I like bananas. I gotta buy some bananas. They're good for you. A lot of potassium. They all started the Game of Thrones and Ned Stark thing, yeah. If Vanessa Kingpin dies, who cares? Just another criminal. That's the thing. They're trying to make, oh well, but she's sympathetic. I'm like, I don't want to see a sympathetic character. I don't want to see sympathetic characters. I don't care if Kingpin had it rough, or Vanessa is just innocent and I don't care. I don't care. I want to hate the bad guys again, please. And I don't want to see Vanessa and Kingpin in therapy, especially not with Matt Murdock's girlfriend. Oh, but I'm against vigilantes. I'm for the anti-vigilante task force. Who the fuck cares? Who the fuck cares? Trying to set up some sort of conflict between her and Daredevil. The conflict is that she's a boring fucking individual. I know what you mean. Things can't just be black and white. Always shades of gray these days. It's getting old. Well, they think they're doing something. They think they're breaking new ground. It's the roundhead Ryan Johnson. Storytelling. Subvert your expectations until there's nothing left to be subverted. You can't have somebody that's just evil. You can't have somebody that's just bad. I mean, the late Ron Friedman, who is a TV writer that I really admire. He wrote one of my favorite episodes of The Odd Couple called Scrooge Gets an Oscar, the Christmas episode. Ebenezer Madison, look at your television set. As being a crime lord does not work well for marriage. You're always a target. But Ron Friedman said in an interview, he said that there is a thing called propulsive narrative fiction in storytelling, in TV and movies, where you have to very quickly get out there who the good guys are, who the bad guys are, what's at stake, and you establish that very quickly so that the audience can have a rooting interest. If you have just all this like shades of gray mush, where's the audience rooting interest? You're left with nobody. What do the bad guys want? What do the bad guys want? What do the bad in this season of Daredevil? What do the bad guys want? What? Somebody tell me what the bad guys want. Somebody. What do they want? Who are the bad guys? Well, the bad guys are the ICE agents. Okay, what do they want? They want to get out of the superheroes. Okay. But you know what? That's just a metaphor. But you know what? They're trying to confuse them with being the good guys. They're trying to convince us that, oh, well, but we think we're the good guys. But the good guys are really the bad guys, and the bad guys are really the good guys. The superheroes, they're really the bad guys. The ICE agents, the anti-vigilante task force, we're really the good guys, but we're the bad guys. You see how confusing that gets? See how annoying that is? The good guys are really the bad guys. And the bad guys are really the good guys, but you just don't understand what we're trying to do. It's like that honeymooners bit. I've been watching you, Norton. And I know you've been watching me. And I know that you know, that I know that you know, that I know that you know you've been watching me. ICE agents are not the bad guys, and superheroes are illegal immigrants. But someone thinks they're clever. Yeah, that's what they're. It's a metaphor. It's a metaphor. Listen, you can have a bad guy believe in what they're doing. And Fisk thinks he's the good guy. I'm a good guy because I'm the real good guy because I'm getting rid of the vigilantes, and they're the bad guys. No, but we're the good guys, and he's the bad guy. Wait, listen. Can you both just neutral corners for a minute? How many writers on the show? I don't know. That's a good one. They did that with Falcon and the Winter Soldier. The good guys are the bad guys, but the bad guys are the good guys, but the bad guys are really doing bad guy stuff, but they think they're the good guys, but the good guys are the bad guys, and the bad guys are the good guys. What? What do you back up a minute? Oh, but as a good guy, I'm just going to let the bad guys go because they're just misunderstood. No, shut up. You're going to prison. It's irritating. It's annoying. You wonder why people are checking out of this. What do the bad guys want? Tell me what the bad guys want. Auric Goldfinger, what did he want? He wanted to irradiate the United States gold supply at Fort Knox. Why? Because then the value of his gold would go up, and he'd make a lot of money. What would have changed about the world? It would have plunged the world economic system into chaos. Okay, we have motivation, we have cause and effect. They want nothing because they won. Exactly. Hugo Drax. What did Hugo Drax want? He wanted to wipe out all life on Earth except for animals. Why? Because he wanted to rebuild the human race in his own perverted image. Okay, again, motivation, cause and effect. I don't get it, man. I just don't get it. Again, G.I. Joe and Cobra Commander, what did he want? He wanted to use the mass device to take over the world. Okay. How did he do it? He kidnapped the Soviet army. He's holding the world hostage until they give him control. Good guys have to stop him. Okay. Second miniseries. Written by Ron Friedman. Again. Cobra wants to use the weather dominator to take over the world. All right. Well, how are they going to do it? They're going to create chaotic weather patterns all over the world, and they did. The world gets plunged into chaos until everybody surrenders. Oh, okay. Look, we have bad guys have they have motivation. They have a goal. They have a method to control how to achieve that goal, and we have how is the world going to be different if they get what they want. Like I said, it's just maddening. The Acolyte. What did freaking Tweedledum and Tweedledee want with the? Oh, the Jedi are good. No, I think the Jedi are evil. What did they want? What was that story about? Somebody tell me what remind me what that was about. But I'm bringing that up because it's pertinent to this discussion. Kingpin wants to take over the city. Okay, Kingpin wants to. Max Zorn. He seeks to monopolize global microchip market, creating a massive earthquake, destroying Silicon Valley. There we go. See, he's gonna flood Silicon Valley and take hundreds of thousands of lives in the process, and cause chaos. Something. It's a story about something Star Wars. Just make the season off one episode. It's the bank episode, a loose going plot. Episode for the Punisher. Episode of Punisher Stillman. For Stillman, an episode for the Gladiator meets the leading Kingpin. What does Kingpin really want? He wants to take over New York. Okay, fine. But why? Why does he want to take over New York? Somebody tell me why he wants to take over New York. Does he think he's making it a better place? Does he think he's building a better society? Does he stand to profit? Yeah, because reasons. Because reasons. I'm going to wipe out superheroes because reasons. We haven't gotten a speech. We haven't got anything saying about what he's going to do. Yeah, that's exactly what they were. Lesbian space witches and lesbian space twins who released diss tracks. Pardon me. But again, I'm coming back to this because I still can't figure it out. What if Kingpin succeeds in taking over New York and wiping out superheroes? What does he stand to gain? Okay, he's shipping arms. He's shipping arms through his port at Red Hook or whatever it is. Okay, at least that's something. But that's almost like an afterthought. What does Spider-Man think about this? We don't know what Spider-Man thinks about this. What does Kingpin want with New York? What does he want with control of the Big Apple? Does he want season tickets to the Yankees? Does he want the Giants to move back to the 5 boroughs? Does he want co-ownership of the Brooklyn Nets? Fuck, does he want the World's Fair to come back to Flushing Meadows? What does Kingpin want? This arms deal, does he stand to make money from it? He wants the New York Jets out of New York. Oh, they're playing in New Jersey. The Jets and the Giants share a stadium out in the Meadowlands. You know, there's a lot of criticism about the Jets and the Giants about MetLife Stadium. I think the biggest criticism about MetLife Stadium is that both teams who play in it are terrible. But I don't think that's an unfair criticism. What does Kingpin really want? That's why people like Destro, not really Cobra Commander. Cobra Commander wants to turn a profit. Cobra Commander wants to turn a profit. He wants to make money. No, Destro wants to make money. He's an arms dealer. He wants his weapons in the hands of as many people as possible because he makes a lot of money doing it. Destro is more authoritative too. Yeah, he's got a kind of a flashier outfit too. Like I said, why not only what does Kingpin want, why does Daredevil want to stop him? Apart from it jeopardizes his existence personally. What is Daredevil's stake in this? Oh, well, Daredevil's the one guy who could stop him. Well, why? Why? What changes about the world if Daredevil stops him? These are good questions. At least I think they're good questions. I don't get this series. I don't get why people like it so much. I dread having to watch each episode. He has to stop Kingpin. But again, why? Why is he stopping him? What changes about the world if he stops Kingpin? I'm not so certain that anything does. Yeah, the task force gets dismantled, probably. Well, are they? Or do they just become absorbed into New York, to the NYPD? The anti-vigilante task force, they hate vigilantes, but they like the Punisher, but the Punisher's vigilante, but they really like him because they're fanboys and they think he kicks ass. Originally, Kingpin killed his father. Kingpin's mom killed his father. She said, "Go get the saw." Chopped him up into little bits. Dumped him into 5 different dumpsters across Brooklyn or the Bowery or whatever it was. Really, I'm really is doesn't Kingpin want to become Mom Donnie? Kingpin on his best day, King wouldn't become Mom Donnie. Let me tell you, a lot of people don't like Mom Donnie. I think he's good. I think he's really good. I think he's great. I listen. He has made a lot of promises. A lot of promises he can keep. But here's the whole thing about Mom Donnie. It's not about whether or not he's taxing millionaires. Okay? Here's the thing about Mom Donnie. New York, actually, New York's going to hell. Bullshit, New York's going to hell. New York just actually had their safest January on record. And that's according to the NYPD. Here's the thing. We've been told for 40-odd years, government is the problem. Government is the problem. There's no scarier words than, I'm from the government, I'm here to help. Mom Donnie is showing that the government can be a tool used by the people for change. And he's asking those who have the most to pay just a little bit more because they have benefited from all the stuff that we used and we create. And if you've ever seen A Bug's Life, the millionaires and the billionaires, they know that it's not just about taxes. It's about keeping the ants in line because there's more of us than there are of them. And when we figure that out, if one of us stands up to them, then we all might stand up to them. And then there goes their way of life. They can't get away with exploiting the system anymore. which is why they spent more money trying to stop Mamdani than they ever would paying taxes. Mike Bloomberg spent $8 million to try and stop Mamdani by pouring it into Andrew Cuomo's campaign. $8 million. He would have to pay an extra $250,000 in taxes for the year. That's it. So again, it's not about the taxes. And now you have like you have Jeff Bezos. He's trying to start some philanthropic measure to do, and that's his way of buying influence. Oh, you want a livable wage? I was set up I set up the charity. What more do you want? You want health care? Oh my God, I can't believe you people. I'm doing all this charitable work for you. That's gratitude for you. Seriously, who asked for Cuomo to come back? Cuomo. That's who. If you ever get a chance to watch Rutger Bregman, and this is getting a bit off topic, but again, this kind of ties into it. If you ever get a chance to watch a guy, Rutger Bregman, he's a Dutch historian. He was at Davos one year. And he goes on and does this great, gives this great talk about this. He says, we're talking about all these philanthropic things. And, we all talk about, Bono coming here and doing all this charity work, but we're not talking about what the biggest problem is, taxes. The rich have got, he said it flat out, the rich have got to start paying taxes. And you had Michael Dell. He goes, Michael Dell's here. And this is going to be my last time at Davos because they're not going to want to hear it. Michael Dell is here. He's saying, oh, well, name one country that this has ever worked. By taxing millionaires has ever worked. And Rutger Bregman looks at him seriously and goes, I'll tell you a country, the United States of America. Back in the 50s and 60s, we had an effective tax rate of 90%. We had more money, so much money in this country, we had no idea what to do with it. We built hydroelectric dams. We shot people into space. We funded education. We wiped out child hunger. We researched how to cure diseases. It would cost, I don't know the exact number, but I read it at the time. It would cost $5 billion. $5 billion to wire the entire country in the United States for broadband fiber internet. $5 billion. We spent 6 times more than that in a day in Iraq. In Iran, rather. Sorry. No, I'm sorry. I shouldn't. No, I'm sorry. I don't know what the exact number is. But we spend about $20 billion a week, I believe, in Iran. Dropping bombs on them. Back in the day, a project like that would come up. Okay, the government would ask for proposals. They would ask for proposals. They would present them, and whoever had the best proposal or was the lowest bidder, beware the lowest bidder, but whoever put in the best proposal would get the contract, and they would do the work. But now the free market, the free market's failed. The free market has failed, especially when it comes to things like broadband internet. All the free market means is that they are free to charge us whatever they want in the market. That's all that means now. So that is one of the great failures of the free market. And don't get me started about healthcare. It's really, really, really ticking me off. Just a second here. Sorry for the interruption. I'm pulling my hair out. I have no hair. Okay, I have no hair. Yeah, thanks, Dad, for those dominant ball genes. Actually, I trimmed my melon recently. Yeah, it was getting kind of long. But I trimmed it, and it's all nice and neat, and hopefully I got all of it. I kind of look like Charlie Brown. Middle-aged Charlie Brown. But it's probably better off like that. But anyway. Oh, boy. So anyway, I've been going on about 90 minutes. I think I'm going to end it there. Well, maybe go a little bit longer. I don't know where to end it. Would you guys like to see me do some guitar stuff on my channel? Like either playing or fixing shit or I don't know. What do you think? Only 90 minutes? Have you thought about shaving it all? Look like Kojak. I have thought about shaving it, but this is the remnants of a once proud society of hair. Kind of like the Roman Colosseum. There's only few bricks left. That was actually one of the biggest disappointments. I went to Rome, and I always say the eternal city. And before anyone says that was way back in 2012. The eternal city, my ass cheeks. One pile of bricks starts to look exactly like another. I want to see Rob Eats return. You know what? Rob Eats. What did I see that was new this week? There's new stuff. I wanted to try the Chicken Big Mac. If that ever makes a return, I want to try that. There was something new I wanted to try. I don't know what it was. I'm supposed to be getting there's no. I'm supposed to be getting some new burger at McDonald's or something. I don't know. There's supposed to be a new bargain menu. I mean, I subscribe to something called the Greasy News, which is a fast food sort of thing on Facebook. They're supposed to keep you up to date on the latest offerings. Crunky Bits are awesome. Found about them through you. Oh, Crunky Bits are great. I love Crunky Bits. They're Crunky Bits. How else you can describe them? Crunky Bits. Crunky Bits. I got a feeling they mashed the words crunchy and chunky together. So they're Crunky Bits. Let me see if there's any new fast food. Fast food menu, new items, 2026. Let me see. McDonald's is long. The Big Archburg, Taco Bell. Okay. Taco Bell crispy chicken crunch wraps. Shake Shack. KFC rolling out budget focus. Oh, KFC bowls actually. McDonald's snack wrap. Okay, hold on. Well, menu tracker, National Restaurant News. Okay, so we have the Big Arch. Oh, that looks kind of gross. Let me put this up on the screen for you guys to see. Window capture. 10 best fast food items. The Big Arch. I don't like don't really like that. Chicken lineup. Peppercorn BLT. I don't like that. I don't like the look of that. PLT Whopper. Starbucks Pink Cannonball. That doesn't look too bad. I usually don't like pink lemonade. Rob, do you know about the story of the New England Patriots head coach cheating on his wife? No, I do not. Have you ever had Katz's Deli before? No, I've never been to Katz's Deli. Katz's Deli is expensive. They want $30 for a sandwich, but it's huge. Burger King's frozen Fanta strawberries and cream, Dairy Queen's strawberry angel food cake blizzard, Dunkin' banana drinks, Shake Shack's pimento cheese menu. I don't think there's a Shake Shack near me. McDonald's K-pop Demon Hunters adult meals. Ranking McDonald's food items. Coffee, sausage burrito. There's a sausage burrito? Ew, that sounds gross. The Blizzard looks good. Steak and egg. Oh, that's teeny. Sausage, egg, and cheese bagel. Bacon, egg, and cheese bagel. Double hamburger. Big Mac. Big Mac's way down on the list. Filet of fish. Hotcakes and sausage. What is on that? Is it onions? McCrispy. Spicy McCrispy Deluxe. Hash browns. Cheeseburger. Double cheeseburger. Sausage McGriddle. Sausage. Bacon, egg, and cheese McMuffin. Those are good. I like those. Egg McMuffin. McChicken biscuit. This is going to be curious as number one. McGriddles. McDouble. McRib. How much stuff is on here? Quarter pounder with cheese. Chicken nuggets. French fries. Quarter pounder with cheese. Sausage, egg, and cheese McGriddles. Bacon, egg, and cheese. And number one, deluxe bacon and egg biscuit. Methodology. 15 most original chicken sandwiches you can find in the U.S. See, we don't have a lot of... Okay. Los Angeles. Okay, these are all local stuff. See, we don't have a lot of chicken sandwiches. My area is... Does Katz's Deli deliver? Oh, Katz's Deli is all the way out in middle New York, middle Manhattan. Pay them enough, they'll probably deliver. $30 for the one's best sandwiches. Yeah, and it's huge. Two people could easily eat it. If you like Big Mac, you'll love the Big Arch. Supersized Big Mac with crispy onions. Oh, I like crispy onions. I like me some crispy onions. Oh, you know what? I do like the idea. I might review some chips or whatever, like some new potato chips or something, or Tostitos. Those actually, I like the idea of trying new Tostitos or Doritos or whatever. You got to do a shawarma review. I think you're going to review chips. I'm yeah, some chips. Or just food in general. If I'm probably going to go to Aldi. I'll soon if I find something unusual there. Grab a bunch of chips and compare them. You know what? I like the Stacks better than the Pringles. I don't know why. Stacks just seem to have more flavor. All right, see you later, Senior Sticks. I'm going to wrap up in here in a minute. The Stacks seem to have more flavor. Asian supermarkets have cucumber chips, Italian meat flavor. You're going to make a video about Daredevil Season 2? Probably when it's completed. Probably. I'm probably gonna do some more gaming tonight too. I don't know if I'm gonna do Red Dead or I'm gonna do Hitman. I still gotta do the Bruce Lee DLC. Oh, pardon me. They only offer that for a limited time because I guess it's got something to do with the estate of Bruce Lee. But I got to like I said, if I'm hoping they bring back one. You know what I miss? I miss the gordita. I miss the Baja Gordita from Taco Bell. I used to love getting those. Those were really, really good. The Baja, that was my favorite item at Taco Bell. The Baja Gordita. And it's too bad, like I said, I have a Taco Bell near me. Have you seen that TV series Warrior based off Bruce Lee's concept for a TV show? No, I haven't. I'm going to have to look that up. Let me look that up a second. Warrior Bruce Lee TV show. Warrior Chinese is an American martial arts crime drama that premiered on April 5. It is based on an original concept and treatment by Bruce Lee and executive produced by his daughter Shannon Lee. Oh, wow. That is from 2019. Set during the Tong Wars of the late 1870s, San Francisco, series follows Sam, martial arts prodigy who emigrates from China in search of his sister, only to be sold one of the most powerful tongs in town. Oh, wow. I'm going to have to watch this. Yeah, I'm going to have to watch this. This is on my list. Let me see. Written by oh, yeah. Okay. It's going on the list. It is going on the list. Let me see. Hold on. Warrior TV show. Okay. I'm going to have to watch this. This looks like something I'm going to watch. Yeah. How many episodes? How many seasons? 3 seasons. 7 episodes, 10 episodes per season. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to have to watch this. All right. Can't wait for season 2. Alien. What was it called? Warrior. Literally called Warrior. All right. This is going on the list. This is one thing that's going to be watched by yours truly. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. And if I forget, somebody remind me. Because I have a slippery brain. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to be watching that bad boy. All right. Like I always say, does it have karate in it? In this case, yes, it has karate. And I'm going to be watching it. Okay, we've been at this for about, 90 minutes? Hour 43 minutes. Okay, I am, you going to watch Spider-Man? Yeah, I'm going to watch that at some point. I'm going to watch that when it's out. I got to play, the Bond game comes out in about another month. About another 6 weeks or so. As much as I would love to buy and play the Bond game on day one, $70 is a little steep. So I'm going to have to put that off for a while and wait for a deep discount. Let me see. Is it called First? Yeah, First Light. Let me just show you the IO Interactive. From the creators of Hitman. Okay, that's not it. Where the frick is it? Oh, crying out loud. Okay. There you go. There's the Bond game right there. Again, it's a pre-ordered collector's edition. Like I said, as much as I would love to, yeah, I think those days are pretty much over. I think it's reduced at the moment. Become 007. As long as they... Oh, Lenny Kravitz is in it? And yeah, they made her ugly. Is that cute? Oh, God. What happened to Moneypenny? Yeah, they ugly up all these... Why do they ugly up all these characters? Why is everybody so brutish? Well, yeah. Well, the scar is because that's what was in the novels. You know, he has a scar on his face in the novels. Slovakia. Sign up for newsletter and get free items. Oh, okay, we're going to have to do that then. I'm going to have to do that. Gadgets, phone, earphones. Okay. Lighter, pen. More gadgets to be revealed. Ooh. So, locations: Copenhagen, which I've been. Malmo, I've not been. Barcelona. Istanbul. Brighton. It's Cardiff. Cardiff. Glacier. Oh. Create without limits. Power up with Glacier. This has got to be the game engine. This is the game engine they use. It's about IO Interactive. Would love to see you play Indiana Jones in the Great Circle. I think it's reduced at the moment. I'll take it. Let me go take a look, actually. Go take a look. If not, if I could always see if it's on CD keys. I hope this game is good. It's from the makers of Hitman. So, from my two favorite things, James Bond and the Hitman games. Let's see. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. Let's check my wish. I think I wish listed this. Indiana Jones and the Great Circle. No, $70. Let's check CD keys, though. CD keys. Well, it's called Loaded now, but... Indiana Jones. $61.59. So it's at a discount. Not a great discount, but... Standard PC worldwide. What kind of specs do you need to run this? Windows 7 and up. 2 gig processor. Oh, not very intense. Let me see. Let me see what the Steam... Intel Core 7, 3 gigs. Ryzen 7. Ryzen 7 770. 7700. Ryzen 3. Ryzen 5 or better. Things are going to start... Things are getting a little too graphic intensive. Hope the game is good. You didn't play that game yet. No, I didn't yet. Things are getting a little too... I mean, it's... Metal Gear Solid Snake Eater, which is Metal Gear Solid Delta Snake Eater, which I played years ago. Let me see. 007 First Light. What are the specs on 007 First Light? Intel i5 or Ryzen 5. Intel Core i5. 13500, Ryzen 5 760. Okay, that'll do. Okay, yeah. I could probably run that. You could always dial down the specs. Death Stranding. That's why I like consoles, is because you don't have to worry about, checking a spec sticker. Well, looks no way my system will run this. Did you ever play GoldenEye? Yeah, I played GoldenEye. I haven't played it in years. I thought it was all right. Oh, pardon me. I still have the World War I game, actually. All right. Well, okay. I'm gonna call it there. All right. I'm gonna. Oh, jeez. Quit out of opera. All right. I am gonna end the stream here. Rob, he's a pro gamer, and I wish. I always say the stuff I'm good at, I can't make money doing. All right, everybody. Thanks for joining me. I'll be back later tonight with Black Shaggy Gaming. I don't know what we're gonna do, but we're gonna either do. We might do World War I Simulator. We might do Hitman. We might do Red Dead. I gotta do the challenges. Some of the challenges just to keep the multiplier alive. Weird game on PS2. Go Rogue Agent based on Bond universe where he plays an evil 00. Did you ever play that? No, I did not play that. I may play that. Let me see if it's... Can I find... Is it on Steam? Let's see. Agent. No, it's not on Steam. It is not on Steam. Let me see if I can, just a second here, just find the Rogue Agent game. Okay, Quantum of Solace. You sure it's on Agent Under Fire? Everything or Nothing, From Russia with Love, Nightfire, Quantum of Solace. You sure it's on PS2? Not, it might be on the PS3. Let me see. Quantum of Solace, Legends, Bloodstone. Agent game. GoldenEye Rogue Agent. Okay. That's why I couldn't find it. It was the title wasn't right. Gameplay. GoldenEye Rogue. Okay, let me look under GoldenEye. Agent. Okay, so G. GoldenEye 007 and Reloaded. Okay, that is PS3 games. PS2. I'm looking it up. GoldenEye Rogue Agent. Okay, PS2. Okay. All right. Yeah, there it is. What is the gameplay like? Is it a first-person shooter? Let me see. It's a first-person shooter. All right. All right. That looks interesting. All right, everybody. Well, okay, we got a couple things to do here. Okay, GoldenEye Rogue Agent. All right. Okay, we are going to end it right there. Everybody, thank you for joining me. Thank you for indulging me in my tirades. It's been almost 2 hours. Holy schmagoli. Thanks, everybody. Thank you for being in the chat. Mr. MH, Anthony Way, Senior Sticks, Anthony Way again. Everybody else, Kermit Frog, Infinite Entertainment. Just make the season 1-off episodes bank. Sorry, missed your chat. Thank you for everybody still watching. Real Uber Canuber. I like that. Everybody, have yourself a good day. I'll be back a little bit later, probably with some Black Shaggy Gaming. Thanks always. Take care of yourselves. Take care of each other. No drinking, no driving. We'll see you here next time. And we will catch you all next